10:51 p.m. Tuesday, October 2nd, 2012. So I came back about this is going to be personal chat. I already poured myself my daily evening dose of wine. So I ended up going to the meeting at the Bergen County Social Services, and I took some notes and I got an understanding of what did I get an understanding of? That it's broken. I read out what I wanted to read out, which I don't think I even shared here. So I'll do that real quickly just to be so it makes sense. And I presented the posters that me and Oliver created. And I don't know if they're going to take them. It wasn't really, it all went to deaf ears, I suspect. Maybe it's too hard to, it's maybe too early to make that judgment yet, but I think it went to deaf ears. I'll just read it to you real quickly. I thought it was pretty good though. Greetings board, my name is Oleg, I live in Cliffside Park. I wanted to better myself, so I went to your agency a little bit. I know you're not such agency, but your name, your vision, and mission imply otherwise. I'm perplexed beyond comprehension. There's an emphasis on applying for a type of assistance before you even begin to work with the person. Mind you, the people walking through the doors are not clients or customers, but citizens and residents in need. You insult the forefathers of this land by referring to these people as clients or customers. After 31 years of this agency serving the citizenry, has no one ever came here not knowing what they need, other than the simple fact they need help? Not want, no one comes here because they want, otherwise they would have gotten it themselves like the majority, right? Do you assume what you know as a human being up to this very point of your existence is what everyone that walks through the doors of this agency knows as well? If an agency that has a mission sponsored, funded by the government for the benefit of the citizenry to help individuals and families meet their basic needs so they can live in dignity and achieve their highest potential, does not assume that the person walking through the doors knows very little about life, then how does the agency ever help the individual achieve their highest human potential? The highest realistic potential for the current time of our short history is for the natural-born citizen to be elected a U.S. president. How many of these people are transformed as the result of the efforts of this agency to even make the conscious internal decision that the role of a U.S. president is of no interest to them? This is a fundamental flaw. No wise person is affected by this economy. Are you still getting paid comfortably? Are you by any chance using any of these so-called services that you provide? A wise person knows to adapt. To be quite honest, my concern is for this agency to be a great agency, not just another plague that we must get rid of because some fool promised too many promises. It appears what is done here, we can ask our public high school students to volunteer a couple of hours a week to resolve, with the same result. Robert, director, do you hold yourself to the same standards that Edgar held himself to when he gave his life to the FBI? Over the phone, when briefly chatted, you spoke, you work here many hours a week, do you get paid overtime for that? Etc. So I got that understanding that the people who sit there, it's their second job or third job, and very little time is spent into the role that is required for them to do. So it's just the typical, not the typical, but I mean, these are my early observations. They put in 20 hours of guest master to somebody, and then they got themselves this position. And there's a few people that of the board that I'm a little bit not sure if they're just complete cowards, or I don't know. Not all of them are. You can't. It's not their fault though. That's the thing. I can't even blame them. It's not their fault. It's it's just the way it's just a flawed. It's not their fault. So let's find out if it's the fault of the county government. I plan to go to a board meeting tomorrow, because the way I gathered is everybody who sits on the county government level also get assigned this side job of a government agency like this one in the county level. It's like a perk, like, oh, you get to do this as well, and I assume they get a salary for this. that there was not a lot of intellect, or there was not a lot of brainstorming. There's no intellect, there's no drive, there's no motivation, there's no competition. It's just whatever it is, it's whatever it is. It's just simply maintaining this idea of giving fish to people as opposed to teaching the people how to fish. Um, and I got a card of the chairman, who is the chairman of this agency's board, who is also he's a freeholder for the county government. And the thing is that they don't have a permanent director. They have a person who's acting as the director for the time while they fill the role of the director. I assume that the previous director got promoted up, so he's doing something that he's been waiting to do, or he's just simply he put in the time and that's his way to move up. Um, by the way, if anyone in America that is, what you do with your life is your life, but I mean, it's possible for you to join a Democratic Party or a Republican Party and do just that. Like, yes master, and you're very compliant to, and you do everything that you're told. The idea is that you get rewarded for it 10, 20, 30 years down the road. Uh, it's not good, but it's possible. I came there late. I was disappointed. I wanted to get there in time. I got stuck in traffic, more or less. Yeah. And though something, there's a great deal of learning that took place, but the employees who worked there, I got to speak to a few of them just casually. I cannot even say anything that, you know, because I didn't meet anybody who actually worked there in the ground level. It was like, it seemed that most of them are quite decent, hardworking individuals. I was just, my initial observations was that I was not, but then I got a chance to see them, and they have ideas, and they have suggestions, and they can this could be a fantastic government agency, but their ideas, their suggestions go to deaf ears because it's not important. It's okay. Like, it's just okay, if the people who work with you for 10, 20, 30 years have an idea and you don't listen to it, or you don't even consider it, and you're in charge. uh, if it was a business, you would long be gone. If it was a non-profit organization, you would be long gone. But if it's a government agency, it's okay, because there's infinite funding. Taxpayers are always paying. There's two things certain: you're gonna die, and you're gonna be paying taxes. Those are the two certain things in life, American life. Just a moment ago, I bought some food. I paid a tax, paid a sales tax. Tomorrow should be more interesting though, because I'm going to be going to the county uh, uh, meeting with the freeholders. It's such a funny name, freeholders. Freeholder, feeholder. That's like a funny name. What do I want to say? Oh, today I realized. I don't know if I should do this though, but two things I realized. That A, I need more friends. physically. And B, and then I realized I had this idea. I emailed Christina 2 days ago, and I did look up to where she worked, and she works at a college. And I mean, I'll take a look at it again before I actually go up there. But the college that she works at seems to be like one of these scammy colleges. Not scammy colleges, but one of these uh, questionable institutional places that uh, house this place of education. Like there's a lot of places like that that exist. Um, like for instance, if somebody overseas wants to come to the United States, you can easily do it in many ways. But one of the ways you can actually do it is to get a visa. Is you come here to study English, and there's a lot of these like little bullshit schools that are set up that they're supposed to be like teaching you English, but all they're really doing is just they're it seems like I don't know if that was the intentional, but what they seem to be doing now is just simply just you pay them, and because of you paying them, you're affiliated with the school, and then you can extend your visa, or you can come here and get the visa, but you have to pay. And you just have to say, oh, I'm here to learn in the English language. It's one of the simplest languages in the world, uh, by far. I learned the English language in about 6 months, but I was a kid. You say, oh, that's normal. The Japanese study their language all their student life because it's so complicated. There's a character for everything. That's what I was told by when I had a friend many years ago in around sixth grade, maybe seventh grade. No, not sixth, seventh grade. Fourth grade, fifth grade. I had a Japanese friend. His family came over. I had a couple of friends in my like early, well, not early childhood, but I guess late childhood days, whose families came over for diplomatic reasons. I think his father was a diplomat, I believe, and there was another person who also his name was Oleg, and his father was also a diplomat from um, one of the countries south of Russia that was part of the USSR. I can't think of its name right now. And the Japanese boy, his name was Hiroshi. I remember that. He taught me origami, which I've forgotten now. Yo-yos. He was really big into building plastic models of these action figures, and he would get a box and he would then be building it with like it's maybe some people did it, some people still do it. Is you get this little box of these little plastic parts, and then you have to put it all together, and there's this like elaborate, complicated instruction guide to it. And something else I wanted to say. Oh, so with the Christina, just to back up a little bit, and I was thinking maybe I should just stop by there and say hello to her and kind of get a look at the place. Two birds, one stone. It might be a little creepy though. There's nothing creepy about it. I mean, it's borderline, but some things I'm gonna have to be doing to not to a lot of people, just to catch them off guard, to get a better gauge on them. Knock on the mayor's door at like dinner time. Hello. Not like to intimidate, just to get a personal gauge. Because people wear, not people don't people wear, but some people act. It's when they go out. Like for instance, when we were waiting because the board has a private session, what is it, the chairperson or the vice chairperson came out and shook my hand and he did a fake smile. Don't do a fake smile. What good is that? Don't waste your energy and time to do that. That's a waste of your human energy if you're gonna be fake smiling. I mean, you have no reason to smile, don't smile. It just seems like such a waste of a human energy is finite. Don't waste it. Don't be fake. Don't. I mean, people do all sorts of things, but idea is that you come to the conclusion that these are mistakes yourself at some point in your life. Um, I was actually surprised to see any smiles in the board meeting. There were plenty. I don't know what is there to smile about though. It's not working. It's a waste of everybody's time. Everybody who works there, it's a waste of their life. Nothing gets done. And I guess it's part of human nature to make the best of things. It is what it is, and I can't put people in position to risk their, I guess, what are they risking? I don't even know, to risk their career or their lives. If it's, I mean, yeah, with the life, I can't put somebody in a position that's going to risk their welfare, their life. But to risk their career, I don't know. There are plenty of places exist in the world for people who do right things, who are not afraid to say, no, this is wrong, this is what I'm going to do, this is the right thing to do, and maybe they get fired and whatever. There's plenty of NGOs and nonprofit organizations that have noble goals and noble causes, just that, and they pay you fairly. They don't inflate your salary. Just maybe some people get used to this inflated salary for what they're doing. I mean, there's no money in public good work. That's a fact. I mean, there is in this system, this current system. Yeah, there's plenty of money to do public service. Salary of a mayor, salary of this freeholder, and the salary of whatever positions he gets on top of his primary job. It's as if this person is capable of not sleeping and lives off like a 40, 60 hour a day, when everybody else lives off 24 hours per day. There's no explanation for how a person could have the time to do to hold multiple executive leadership positions in government. I just don't understand it. It's not physically possible. I mean, I understand it. It's because of, but just that why hasn't anybody else came up with it? I know why they haven't come up with it. Scared. Just delegate the problems of yesterday to the people of tomorrow. Not delegate, but pass it on. I posted that reading. I'm 63 and I'm tired, and I got some pretty good positive. And there's an interesting conversation that I might begin engaging with from the RH gaming community, but I also posted on the Han community, and you can see like there's a lot of kids in playing Han. They didn't. It all missed it. Like somebody asked me, "What's the point of this?" And this is what I wrote. The point of it was that it was an educated piece of writing that spoke from a life experience from a man whose sandglass is about to run out, who has done some interesting things with his life, who is concerned that the problems that he is leaving behind are the problems of his granddaughter, the problems, for his granddaughter, who is much younger than everybody who read or posted here. He's just tired. It's so simple, isn't it? So tomorrow, I made a mistake, by the way. It wasn't that I had to go to Trenton this morning. I have to go to Trenton tomorrow morning. And today, somebody was working on my kitchen bathroom ceiling. So I lost about 3 hours of my day because I had to go to the bathroom and I wanted to take a shower, and I just kept sitting here just waiting. I sat here on this chair, like listening to music on and off for 3 hours, just staring at a wall. Because I needed to do my ritual. It's important, I guess, to have some sort of a structure, some sort of foundation to how you begin your day. You simply just wake up and go. And you have to prepare yourself, maybe have something to drink, a tea or a coffee or water. Position yourself to what you want to accomplish today, and what your plan is, and get it done. Where am I at this? I'll share with you the notes. I took some notes from the meeting that we had today. Never had anything profound, just simple basic stuff that a 12-year-old would understand. But they talked about some pension situation. They have an increased volume right now, so a lot more people are using their agency. And God forbid World War III occurs. Time to process applications. They were trying to figure out if they could increase the time, or I don't know. And there's some irregularity in the chart, and they changed the waiting line structure. This is quite simple, basic. You go to a supermarket. There's a line. Thought was given to how this line would be and how many people would on average be within the line to accommodate the space. So behind the line they could have stock, they could have shelves for all the products. So what was happening here was that the line was going outside of the building, and because the weather is going to get much colder or rainy or whatever, you can't have people standing outside. So what they did was inside they made like a little queue, like a movie theater queue. When you go to the movie theater to purchase tickets, they have these little things set up that stretch out, or you're waiting to get inside a bar or a club and there's a big line. It's simple logic, really. They just figured it out 31 years later. Good for them. They're talking about making the call center better, so when people call the agency, they can get the information they need. Some nonsense, and I kind of made my own personal note. It just needs to be like Geico. So far, of all the companies I had to deal with over the phone, or PayPal actually would be better than Geico. Yeah, make it just like Geico or PayPal. You call them, you have a problem, you speak to the person within a few seconds, and they're ready to help you. But because of the nature and blah 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 blah, whatever. There was some talk about speculative expenditures, obviously over budget. You can't count. We're talking about the bidding of the electricity. That's for the building. It's like a 5-floor building, so if they could have different options for electricity, I guess that's important. But they were comparing themselves between the other counties. to see how they were doing in comparison with other counties. So that's their competition, so to speak. Jesus. They were skewed statistics, so they couldn't really get a good perception of how they were doing in regards to the other counties. They talk about software costs. They were supposed to give a president's report, which was not given, and a committee report, which was not given. And the next meeting is on November 13, 5 p.m. And the reason is it's November 13 is because I think the election would be on the 6th. No, the election would be on Wednesday, and they don't want to have the meeting right before election day. So it would be on the 13th, the second following Tuesday, because their structure is to have the meeting, the public board meeting, the first Tuesday of every month. They gave me this little paper, which everybody got, but I was the only member of. There was a couple of people there, but they were employees. I was the only person that was part of the public. So I'll see if I can get together a few people to come with me next time. And then also I was sitting here thinking, how much is a reasonable pay to pay somebody to go to this meeting, to sit there, to get an understanding of what's going on and ask questions. How much would it take that person to do? Because it'd be very hard to get people to go to these types of things because they're busy and they think it's not important. And it's a hard argument to make to them. Well, if it's not important, then why do you pay taxes? Well, it's the law to pay taxes. Jesus. Yeah, that's a hard argument to make to somebody, even though it's quite simple. You have to know if you're paying all this tax money and you don't know how it's spent. Why are you paying it? It's the law. Then why do you complain about paying taxes? Well, it's nonsense. It's utter nonsense. I was extraordinarily nervous though when I read my speech in front of them. I was shaking. I had it in one hand and I was shaking, so I took my, because I wanted to read it. I wanted to write it on a piece of paper because I don't have a printer yet. So I so I had it off my phone. I was quite nervous, but I feel good I did it because more or less I broke my cherry. Because it was just slightly uncomfortable. I didn't imagine it to be that way. I imagined it to be like a court where they're sitting horizontally, and I approached them, and it was just like an awkward. It was just the whole thing was just awkwardly set up. And they had this big table, rectangle table, and everybody sat around it. Like the board members sat around it, and on the back you had for the people. And tomorrow I need to do some quick research to get just a basic understanding to confirm myself that we have this system in the state of New Jersey, and other states have it as well. It's called pay-to-play. And currently what I understand it to be is a sophisticated way to extort money from businesses. So when businesses need to do something, you need to pay the government or whoever, somebody in the government, to do what they need them to do. I imagine it like a business needs a road built so people can travel to their business. They have to pay extra for that. And there's an argument, well, why is it that it come out of the general taxpayer money for someone else's business? Well, the business already pays to operate. It pays these different taxes that come along with having the business. And now you're having them pay for these things that increases their ability to operate the business, in which most cases the business has employees, so people have jobs. People go to the business to buy things. They produce or they sell something. So kind of like how do I put this? It's like having a toll system on a bridge. You see, in order to build the actual bridge, or any bridge, the money comes out of the general taxpayer money, because it's gonna be to benefit the people. Then all of a sudden you put a toll on the bridge because you say, well, it costs money to have this bridge. Well, yeah, you're right, but the money already came out to build it from the general taxpayer money. So why is it now we have to pay extra on top of whatever we're already paying? So it's just extortion. It's a sophisticated form of extortion when you pay extra on top of you already paying. Uh, that's just the way New Jersey's fucked up like that because of the Italian mafia. Um, like I said, it's a sophisticated form of extortion. It's no longer you going to a business and breaking something and going, you know, you have to pay protection money so things don't go wrong and everything goes the way it should. You don't want to have any trouble, right? Pay a little extra for security. But doing that is almost an automatic conviction, let's say. Somebody approaches you that way. Um, there's like a 95%. I don't know what the statistics is, but that's it. If the prosecutor fails to convict the person for doing that, I don't know. I don't believe it. That there's a chance of failure when somebody approaches you that way and you decide to report it. See, the thing is here, we just simply need more Americans. We don't have any Americans in America. See, I think that a part of being an American is you're not afraid to do what's right, because that was the foundational idea behind this country, the ideal that this country was founded upon, doing the right thing. Pledging yourself to an ideal. This country is an ideal. Give us your poor and your sick. Or how is it etched in the Statue of Liberty? Needy and poor? I don't know. Tired and poor? I don't know. Something along those lines. Oh, in terms of the message board, I had some ideas. I kind of looked it up because it's going to be part of my campaign to have a message board. I'm going to try to mimic the way that Pirate Bay the way that Pirate Bay operates, because I plan to have, I expect, I plan. My theory is that if I can give a place for public employees, the average citizen, the average resident, a venue where they could speak their mind, their thoughts, they can share their ideas and suggestions without reprisal, that their job, their livelihood, their welfare, and the welfare of their family is not compromised by sharing that information, which in some cases will result in whistleblowing. They would do that. And if it's done correctly, even in the case of them having signed a legal document preventing them to speak on something, if it's done correctly, it doesn't necessarily mean they could never speak of it. It's just as long as they speak on it on U.S. soil. So it just the hosting and the location for this information is stored, and the security in that the person posting is untraceable, then they have nothing to worry about. Because if the US government, with all the lobbying, all the third-party billions of dollars in whatever spent to shut down a service like Pirate Bay, is unable to succeed, then it's very unlikely that local thugs or state thugs could penetrate it. Plus, there's legal jurisdiction you need to consider. I mean, if they really, I mean, you see, the thing is, if our government is not completely corrupted, because all it takes to shut down Pirate Bay is for the CIA to send an operative and blow some things up, blow some of the servers up. But they can't do that. It's not fully compromised. There is some integrity. Even with billions of dollars. So and for anybody watching this and with the plan to enter the private sector, to start a business or whatever, don't aim to be a millionaire or billionaire. Set yourself up for trillionaire. Be the first trillionaire. Millionaires and billionaires, it's quite a cliche. Set up to be the trillionaire. Easy. You just have to do it smart. And you can't have too many investors. At some point, you need to get rid of your investors, because you're going to lose a lot of money by having investors, because you're going to have to be sharing all the profit. So if you can do it, if you can begin a business without any third party involvement, or if you do need financing or money to get it going, focus on paying it off as soon as possible. Ugh. Like, I'm surprised there's not a permanent journalist that goes to these meetings. I was actually very surprised that no one just. Might be like the old yeah, I might have been the only one, first one. And I'm not even. I'm, if anything, an amateur at journalism. And that wasn't the goal for today. Just simply doing that is a business for somebody right now. If somebody lives around here, start going to these board meetings and start writing articles about them. So the people who are trying to get into government don't have to do that. I did this because where else am I going to get this information from? I have to do it myself. This information does not exist in the internet. There's nobody out there compiling this information for the public. Anyways, I'm gonna go to bed. Tomorrow's gonna be a nice day because I'm gonna wake up early. I'm gonna see the sunlight. Not the sunlight, but I'm gonna be outdoors driving, so I'll listen to some music, drink some coffee while I drive. Adios. Ba 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 ba.